bevo.com.
You sometimes say that sports managers get it right when it comes to talent, and very often business managers get it so wrong. Can you just give us a minute on that?
There are, as you know, as I know, as any sports fan knows, or any symphony fan knows, there are extraordinary music directors who are able to find extraordinary talent and spot young talent. In the world of sport, I mean, the American term tends to be general manager, the person who's not the coach on the field but is responsible with the assistance of the coach for developing the talent pool. The real point I'm making is actually a lot simpler. By definition, it's a constrained world where there are as many wins collectively as losses. But there is no issue in sport whatsoever that you are not dependent on the quality of the stadium, as much as that gives the owner a shot of money for 5 or 10 years until the losses mount up. You are dependent on the quality of the team that's on the field, period. Nobody said, you know, the shocking phrase often in the world of big business, people matter, is not a phrase that would exactly, you know, be one that would be written down by the guy who owns the Oakland A's or the San Francisco Giants or what have you. They know it's talent. And when a baseball book that's written is famous, which is rare in America, it was going to be a movie. It was a book called Moneyball, and it was about a guy who was the talent collector, general manager at a team called the Oakland A's, which has one of the lowest payrolls out of 30 teams and one of the best records. And he had just developed a truly new way of selecting and developing talent. So, you know, as I say, the point is very simple. It's, if you're a symphony conductor, you may be the most creative guy in the world, but you damn well better have a talented first violinist, period, all stop. Talent is it. The roster is it.
Because there seems to be one underlying theme, Tom, to everything, and that is that you're a massive believer in that organizations need to be focused on talent and human development.
I'm Rance. I have become radical beyond radical on this topic. The occasion was something in Sydney that was a celebration of Peter Drucker's life's work, but I wrote this thing and I said an organization must be a cathedral devoted to human development. And I believe it. And I'm really pushing people hard on it. The service to the customer comes entirely as a focus of the energy, enthusiasm, and attitude, not only of the person who meets you at the reception desk, but also the accountant who helps you with a credit card that's rejected, or debit card if you are outside of the United States, or what have you. There are a couple Swedes who wrote a book that I love. I get very turned on by books that have great titles, whether I like the inside or not. And the book was called Hostmanship, Hostmanship. And he said the leader is the host to his or her employees. And these guys, the two authors, I think, bought a hotel at one point, and they said our first effort was to go through the hotel and try to transform it. What does that mean? We didn't try to transform the rooms. We transformed staff cafeterias, we transformed uniforms, we transformed trainers, and then he asked this rhetorical question, and he said, what hotel would you rather stay at? The one that has a totally engaged, turned on staff, or the one that's absolutely gorgeous and has a staff that only knows one word, and the word is snarl. And so I'm, you know, and then I don't like the 100-page large print parable books, just between you and me in this private conversation we're having in the pub. But I read this one that this guy Matthew Kelly wrote that was called The Dream Manager. And it's a trivial point that's profound. He said, everybody has a dream. And if you can help them enable that dream, business related or not, you will have helped create an energetic person. And I thought of it, it's true here too, but well, certainly true in places like London. It's true more maybe even in the US. The frontline employee whose life is far more interesting than yours or mine and complicated is an immigrant from Ecuador who has become a single mom, who has 2 kids that she's raising with a limited education, blah, 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 blah. If you can help her at the margin, you know, we have a 2-year college degree that you tend to call things like an associate degree. We call the whole phenomenon junior college. You get a degree. If you can help her achieve a junior college certificate, which will change her long-term trajectory, what I'm betting, any sum of money you choose to name, is you will have a very engaged person working in your kitchen or housekeeping department or what have you. And he argues that the role of the leader is to be a dream enabler. You know, I mean, at some level you could go off into the sky on this and, you know, we would both start choking, tossing our lunch or breakfast as the case may be. But the fundamental notion is right on the money. And I had never seen the language, and I really fell in love with it. I mean, the guy who really introduced me to it is a fellow by the name of Hal Rosenbluth. He inherited a little family travel company in Philadelphia called Rosenbluth. He turned it into Rosenbluth International, which became a shockingly effective organization, and he sold it to American Express for billions literally a couple years ago. But Hal wrote a book, and this is the way he lived 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago, that was called Putting the Customer Second. And Hal, being a very earthy guy, I've forgotten the subtitle, but it was something like, put your employees first and kick butt in the marketplace.
Right.
Just straight Hal.
Yeah.
But it's true. And you know, I mean, to butcher the language that you and I don't share, called American English, you know, the storyline is, if you really want to put your customer first, you have to put the employee who serves the customer more first. And you know, it is an abuse of the language, but I think it's also, you know, rather clear.
Tom,
The Southwest guy, incidentally, Herb Kelleher, was and he has you know, apparently whenever anybody asked Kelleher, how did you do this miracle at Southwest? He said, I treated my employees as my most important customers. And that's the term he uses. He uses the term customer.
Bevo.com